Come on, Oda. Killing some characters is fine from time to time, man, especially those who are not important whatsoever. I think we all got the same reaction in the beginning, but at least things are getting super interesting as we move on with the chapter. I realize the later chapters have all been structured the same. They are split in two halves, first showing the allies and then moving on to Kaido and Orochi. Chapter 979 also follows this trend, and the first half focuses again on Straw Hat interactions and humor. This chapter was actually pretty funny to me, to be honest. Then the second half again revolves around Kaido, the All-Stars, and the Toei Robo. Also, this time with the addition of Yamato, I honestly wouldn't mind getting a full-on chapter about them. Alright guys, welcome once again. This is Rain in Seastone, and today we're gonna talk about chapter 979. I have to say, these breaks are killing me, man. It just feels like One Piece has never taken this many breaks as it has now during 2019 and 2020. I understand this is happening for a reason, and health is always first. I just hope the quality of the manga increases since they have more time to work on it, but it's definitely going at the expense of the weekly reading experience. So, in regards to the chapter, the cover story became an interesting topic this week. However, this is actually bad news because we find out that Pound is probably still alive. For those who don't remember him, he is one of Big Mom's ex-husband and the father of both Lola and Chiffon. It was heavily implied that he was murdered by Oven back at Whole Cake Island, as Oven was about to decapitate him with a flaming blade, but got off-screen. It is true that we didn't get to see his body, but the manga panel showed us the same blade covered in blood and a slash sound effect. This again opens the debate of Oda not killing characters, which is honestly annoying at this point. Mostly because Pound was a side character who nobody cared about. Most of the time you'll find me praising Oda's work as a writer, but this is something I'm not a fan of. If you intend to use a character later on in the story, then just don't put them in a sure death situation like he did with Pell in Arabasta, for example. So something that came to mind while reading, and I'm just being optimistic at this point, is that maybe Pound is indeed dead, and the sole purpose of this cover story is for Lola and Chiffon to find out the corpse of his father, and then go and seek revenge. But for the moment, the ones who find Pound are the Tontada crew, so we'll see how all that ties together. So guys, we start the chapter with the storyteller doing a little recap on the different factions of the allies. Kinemon's leading the eastern forces, and then Denjiro leading the southern forces, including Old Man Hyo. Hyo was supposed to lead the samurai, but given that he's the former Yakuza boss, he probably handled the position to Denjiro, who is the current Yakuza boss, while Hyo stays in the back doing some strategy. We are giving the number of 5,000 plus men on those groups, but I honestly still don't know how that equals the forces of Kaido, Big Mom, and Orochi. So I expect some twist to happen, probably a confrontation between Big Mom and Kaido, or something in that line. Maybe the headliners versus the Toei Robo have an internal confrontation, but you know. The interesting part during this recap though is Kanjuro and Momonosuke. Now confirmed that he hasn't met with Orochi, so Kinemon was right with something after all. So the Beast Pirates don't know he was the traitor, and he even had to fight some of them to get to Onigashima, as I would say he is in the back door that the allies mentioned a couple chapters ago. It is also implied that after Kanjuro's fight, Momo picks up a knife from the guards, and I love to see it because that means either Momo tries to fight or murder Kanjuro when he's distracted, or he cuts the rope and tries to escape. I love to see any of that happen. You guys know I'm betting on Momo to become a good character, and all of this adds to his development and growth. So Momo, please give us some action, brother. Then we get to the Straw Hats, and I was actually laughing while reading that part of the chapter. Luffy rushing in for the Kid Pirates to specifically explain the incursion plan. Luffy, who has never followed a single plan, got me dying. And then Zoro looking for Luffy on its own, knowing that 1000% he's going to get lost, was just too much for me. Like, I'm not really a fan of some of the gags from the Straw Hats, but these two specifically get me every time. I also think Frankie pulling out the tank and the motorcycle was a pretty good addition, especially for the weak trio, because Usopp's accuracy can be very dangerous when using a tank, and then they get another layer of protection. They're also joined by Sanji, Shinobu, and Carrot. Now this chapter again, Carrot just seems like she's just another Straw Hat. She acts very naturally around the crew and feels like she's completely integrated. Now, I did not notice this the first time I read the chapter, but when we see the panel with Jinbe and Robin walking to Onigashima, it seems like they're getting inspired by someone. And I bet you guys 100% that person is indeed Yamato, the son of Kaido. Mark my words. Knowing Oda and the way he writes the story, it is easy to believe the Straw Hats will be the first to stumble upon this guy and maybe even befriend him. Anyways, let's just move to the second half of the chapter because the Beast Pirates are saucy this week. Oda is focusing more on the Toby robot than I thought he would at the first time they were mentioned, and I love it, man. Like, this group dynamic just feels so refreshing to the story. The way the Beast Pirates is structured justifies why the Calamities are such monsters, because they have a group whose only purpose is to fight them and try to achieve their ranks. So they have to stay at a constant prime level of strength. And I honestly love that the Toby robot are confident enough to literally ignore the Calamities and tell them to their face. This is just King we're talking about. You just don't ignore that guy. Which, by the way, he has such a strong presence, man. Every time he shows up in the chapter just gets 10 times better. I can't imagine when he starts doing stuff. Shit is just will be getting crazy. Then this headliner just pops out of nowhere and starts explaining the schedule, which, I mean, honestly, it was a good way to tell the readers what is supposed to happen, and she made a special emphasis on Big Mom ship arrival, which I wonder if that includes more Big Mom pirates, since technically the Big Mom pirates were already there, and also Kaido's really important announcement. It just seems like it might be a marriage between his son Yamato and one of the Big Mom pirates to support the alliance. But if you ask me, I'd like to see something different, not gonna lie. We just literally got out of a wedding. Oda, please don't just go there again. Please, no more wedding keiki. We don't want more wedding keiki. She just said 57 times wedding keiki, bro. So, Kaido sends the Toby rope after his son and reveals that his name is Yamato, confirming that he is indeed a new character. So, rip all the theories about Katakuri, the Calamities, and even my own theory about Momonosuke, which got debunked when we were told that Kanjuro hasn't made his way to Orochi yet. But I have to say this is the situation that hyped me the most out of all the possibilities, so we'll see about this Yamato guy. So please, Oda, don't troll us with this one. Now, the words used to describe Yamato were idiot, young master, and Black Maria also points out that bringing him back will be a difficult task. So I expect him to be either strong or sneaky, young, and a hot-headed guy. The price for bringing him back is the right to go against an all-star. And boy, their reactions were hype. That was a top tier moment of the chapter. Finally, we end up the chapter by going back to Luffy, who's apparently already infiltrated in the party, and he has been spilled red bean soup, which reminded him of Tom and pissed him off. So guys, guess who's gonna fuck up the plan again? That's right, my boy Luffy gonna be kicking some ass next episode. So yeah guys, that's all I have to say for this chapter. Next one sadly drops 24th of May because we got yet another break. Now go hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate it, and remember to comment your thoughts down below. That's it for Written in Sea Stone, guys. See ya.